That look on my face. Amazing. Oh, I love those candidates. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. How are you doing today? Goodness gracious, it feels like forever. Forever. Since I saw you guys, since I taught, which is so crazy. The Wealth Alchemy Formula. If I if I read out loud what I'm typing, then I'm not completely ignoring you guys, and I'm getting done what I need to get done. Win-win. So good. Oh, goodness gracious. Okie dokie. Let's go. We're live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. So glad to be here. Allow embedding. Perfect. Goodness, I feel like I'm slower at this since it's been a whole week. No, well, it's been 2 weeks technically since I went live for DĒP Ministries. Oh. Oh my God, just giggling at that candid of myself from the streaming page. Don't worry about it. It's hysterical. I'm like, so good. So good. Okay, we got some chats here. Oh, we missed you, Lena. I'm so happy that you're back online. Thank goodness. And just all in perfect, exact divine timing too, which is, you know, how it always goes. How it always goes. It's so crazy. Literally, like next week, I'm ready for you. And I would not have been ready had you come like even 2 days sooner. So it's so crazy. And I love it. And the universe is amazing. And we are live on Facebook. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome to our D갯P Ministries live stream on this beautiful, well, it's beautiful right now because it's still early-ish in the day. Sunday morning. Last one is Insta. Good morning, everybody on Instagram. Good to see you. Welcome to our D갯P Ministries live stream on this beautiful Sunday. I was just saying it's early, so it's only 78. Oh my God, California cracks me up, guys. Cracks me up. It's so freaking hot. It is so freaking hot here. Good morning. Good morning. Richard Brandzone, how are you this morning? Thanks for joining. Hi, Inner Essence Counseling. Thanks for joining. Welcome to D갯P Ministries live stream. My name is Abby Levine. Oh, that's the one thing I forgot to do. I'll just leave it. I have a tag everywhere that you need to know who I am and what I'm doing. Kat says, pretty good. 2 major storms with tornadoes. Lost power for days. What? Lost all of your food. Dealing with another spiritual person, stolen your money, ignoring, asking for a refund. He never sent your products. You might have to go public because other people are contacting you. And he has over 30,000 followers on Facebook. Yeah, and you might want to mention that and just be like, hey man, like you've got X amount of time to either send me, you know, notification that my products are on the way, or a refund. And after X amount of time, these will be the consequences. Look at you, Kat, being pushed to the wall to have fearless, ironclad boundaries. I love that. It is so uncomfortable. Oh, goodness, it's so uncomfortable. And yet, like, that's what you asked for. You wanted boundaries. And here the universe is like, here we go. Yes, divine timing, Lena. He's been ignoring you for weeks. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. You're like, I mean, you could deal with me. I'm probably going to be a little bit easier and more forgiving on you than, the authorities. Yep, yep. But drawing those boundaries is often what needs to happen. And so crazy, right when we were in the middle of a boundaries module, the universe is like, bam, 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 like all of these boundaries that need to be set, which is so beautiful. Okay, so today we're going to be covering the Wealth Alchemy Formula. Yay! So funny. I love teaching the Wealth Alchemy Formula. At least in theory. No, I love teaching it. We're not going to be doing like a super deep dive. Today, we're going to cover the 6 steps of the Wealth Alchemy Formula. And then the next few sessions, we'll get a little bit deeper into it and what the Wealth Alchemy Formula is, what it entails, and some of the little bit more details about each of the steps. But in order to actually get super deep, take a deep dive into the Wealth Alchemy Formula and stop practicing it and stop doing the like on the ground healing for reals, you're going to need to do the classes. So before we begin, a couple of announcements. Announcement number 1. All of my classes are available. Woo! Now, when I say that, it comes with a caveat, which is I don't have a way that you can sign up for them yet, but I will within the next week or so, which is very exciting. Hi, Kim. How are you doing, sweet girl? Yeah, which is so exciting. So the migration of all the classes from track 1, some classes from track 2, track 3, all of the classes that I have taught so far for the tracks, including Magic School, have been migrated over to our new system. So over the next few days / maybe a week, I'll be setting up just a way that you can sign up for those. It's on a monthly donation basis that you can have full access to that, which is super duper exciting. And Magic School is probably the one. I know most people care about kind of the money stuff, right? Dissolving poverty mentality, building a wealth mindset, an abundance mindset. And if you don't know me, if you've never seen me teach, if you haven't been following me for a while, which is totally fine, I'm really fucking good. Like I'm really, really good at teaching wealth mindset and dissolving poverty mentalities and limiting beliefs and things like that. Like I have tons and tons and tons of examples of clients who have quantum leaped within a few hours, a few days, doubled, tripled, quadrupled their income within weeks, went from 0 to multi-million-dollar deals within a matter of weeks / months. In fact, I think the craziest story to date, the craziest one, the most far out there one, was one of my clients who came into the program and she was in the middle of $1 million deal. And within 3 weeks, you guys, 3 weeks, her $1 million deal had turned into a $12 billion deal. And it just kept quantum leaping. It went from 1 to 10 to 100 to like 500 and then 900 million and then like 1.1 billion and then it was 12 billion. It was so nuts. And she was like, what the heck? And I was like, this is what happens because money is energetic, wealth is alchemical, and the universe is incredibly powerful, right? The universe can create anything with energy. And so all you have to do is master the ability to do that. So I know the track 1 is the track that most people want. And it's a very important track. That's why it's track 1. Money stuff is really important because we've got to get to the root of our poverty and our lack as a global community, so that as we clear that out, we can become the well-supported, resourceful beings that we came here to be, right? So it's super important. But the track I'm most excited about is Magic School, because this stuff is fun, y'all. It's one thing to teach somebody how to do it in their lives, and then it is another thing entirely to teach people how to do it for others, how to do it in other people's lives. So if you've ever wanted to learn hypnosis, that's included in Magic School. Neurolinguistic programming, energy healing, tapping, quantum processes. What does that mean? It means collapsing the fabric of space and time in order to do multidimensional healing. Lots of different things. Essentially, everything that I know how to do, I taught in Magic School, which is super exciting. There's a few things that I've learned how to do since teaching Magic School, which I'll be doing some modules on coming down the line here after we relaunch Magic School. One of them is my team taught me how to do limiting belief clearing processes from our soul mind, which is definitely different from clearing regular limiting beliefs from the human brain. It's a very similar process, but it's different. There are lots more things you want to incorporate. So I'll be teaching that. And then how to heal a matrix. So they taught me how to work with the matrix and take some stuff, take all the icky stuff. And they taught me how to work with people, individual people's, hi Savi, matrices, as well as kind of global matrices, community matrices. And if you don't know, matrices of the plural of matrix. Yes, Kat, all the certifications. Every module that we teach comes with a certification. So all you have to do is complete all the classes. And then there's a little, no, for the certification, you don't actually need to do a test. You just have to complete all the classes. If you would like to become one of my coaches, there is a test in order to take, to become a coach and work directly for me. So that is also an exciting possibility for Magic School. Because of the depth and the nature of healing, and because of how much misinformation there is out there, I actually only feel comfortable hiring people who know how to do what I know how to do, because I know that it's going to come from the cleanest place of light. So that's just me. And then Magic School is going to be relaunching. Yay, I love it. Bobby, yes, absolutely, babe. I'm definitely taking on coaches. Are you still waiting to do your exam? Because I can have Rach connect with you. Rach is doing the tests for coaches. So yeah, I don't know if you reached out to her. She's the one who manages the testing. So yes, so Magic School is restarting in August. So we have 1 year essentially of recorded classes, which is where I'm teaching all of the modalities. And alongside of that, in August, what I'm going to be doing is doing practical examples of the, oh, you did, and you're still waiting to hear back. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. All right, I'll connect with her probably during the week. so that you'll see the processes in action. It's one thing to learn the processes, but then it's like kind of up to you to go do them. But then when you can witness me doing the actual processes on people, you can ask questions, and you can follow along, and you can ask, well, why did you choose this process for this particular issue, or wouldn't you have done that? Or you can ask kind of more in-depth questions about what I'm doing and why. Because I've been doing this for 9 years now. A lot of what I do is unconscious. So I read unconsciously. I kind of, search through my library of processes and modalities and piece together things in a unique way sometimes. And hi, Michelle. Welcome. So it's helpful to see me in action in a way that you can ask questions. Cool. So Magic School is coming in August. All the certifications that you need. Actually, it gives you all the information that you need in order to build your business, because they also cover a lot of like marketing things. How do you align yourself with intuitive marketing practices, doing sales, advertising, things like that, things that you need, things that you don't need. Third announcement. We are so close to hitting our goal for Cassie. I think we're like $300 away. So if you didn't see my posts, I think I only did one because this week was just madness. But Cassie is our first Abby's House kid. Yay! She is this darling 17-year-old who has had a really rough life. Her name is not Cassie in real life. We changed it to protect her anonymity. But so her dad was very abusive alcoholic. And for those of you who have been exposed to abuse or alcoholism, you can only begin to imagine the kinds of things that she went through as she was growing up. However, he was their only income earner for the household, and he managed all the bills. So Cassie's mom and her had no clue what was going on, were not allowed to make money. Then he passed away 2 years ago. And when he passed away, Cassie's mom, who had already been kind of disconnected, just checked out all the way. So they were facing, not only were they grieving and having to tie up, kind of wrapping up his passing, she also was facing eviction. She had to try to figure out how to get money coming in so that they could pay for food. Their electricity and water was turned off multiple times, and she was 15 years old. Like, no 15-year-old should have to go through this. So she took on the responsibility of managing her household, and she's still not allowed to work. Her mom will not let her work. So really stuck between a rock and a hard place. She's in her senior year of high school. She just about graduated, and 2 weeks ago, she messaged me, and she was stranded in the middle of town. She's the only one who drives. There's one car, and they need it, right? We live in California. She wants to go to the grocery store and get groceries. She needs her car. She needed her car to get to high school. And she just actually messaged me to ask if I would mind paying for a lift so that she could get home, and that she would pay me back. And I was like, honey, I got your lift. So we got her home, and I was asking her what was going on with her car. She has no idea. So then I thought, well, we at DÜP Ministries can help this child. No, she's not a foster child. No, she's not homeless. But man, she's a child that has been through some really tough stuff and has no support system. And why wouldn't we help someone if we could? So I sent her to my mechanic. We got some numbers on repairs. We've got her a AAA membership already. And the total cost of that was only going to be like $10.95. So we're like $300 away. Hi, Jamie, which is so awesome. So if you can throw in a couple dollars for Cassie, I so appreciate that. Thank you to everybody who has donated it so far. Let me grab the link for that because I forgot to do that. And I'll pop that. If you're on anything other than Facebook, you can go to you can go to the Linktree link. If you're on the streaming page, you can just go down. But if you're on any one of the other social medias, just go to the link in the bio. And there is a Help Cassie link there within my link tree, and you can help her and donate and get her car back to working order. This poor kiddo. Anyway, so one last announcement. Goodness gracious. One last announcement. There are no live classes in June. Just FYI, no live classes in June. I realized I'm a little burned out from teaching so many live classes. So I decided to take June off. And that gives us a beautiful opportunity to get the other classes up and running. So I don't know if I like that. I might turn that light off, even though you can see my face better. Maybe that's an issue. So that's just an FYI. I'll send out an email to let you guys know that. But then the track 1 classes and the Magic School classes are going to be live and ready to go here within the next few days / a week. So it's not like you won't be able to do any healing. You can definitely still continue forward on your healing journey. And we will kick the live classes back up in July. So those are all of our announcements. Oh, in case this is your first ever live stream, Sunday live stream with me, let me just give you a little bit of info about what DÄP Ministries actually is. So DÄP stands for Divine Evolutionary Path. So the Divine Evolutionary Path is practical steps rooted in spirit, taking you to your most expansive life of ease and abundance. I truly believe that we came here to be and do and have whatever it is that we want. And I'm constantly reinforced in that belief by actual, practical, tangible examples of people living the life of their dreams. Hey, Francesca, it is, right? DÄP, yeah. And I'm so punny with it too. So ridiculously silly. So, yeah, Divine Evolutionary Path. So what we're doing here on Sundays is we're just live streaming, and I'm covering some of the basic theories, principles, practices, and philosophies that support the DÄP path. What was that? What's that thing when you have a no, it's not a double. Never mind. I'm like a double negative. That's not it. Redundant, because DÄP stands for Divine Evolutionary Path. So I'm like the Divine Evolutionary Path. Anyway, I digress. So Sundays for free. I'm just teaching the philosophies, and then during the week, usually, hi Linz, we do the actual tangible healing in the live classes. But as I just mentioned, no live classes for June. We do have all of the tracks coming online, everything that has been recorded up until now coming online within the next week or so that you can access just for a monthly donation to the nonprofit. And then the other part of my nonprofit is practical, on the ground, tangible action. So the first thing that we're doing is we are building transitional housing for emancipating foster youths. So we're building houses for kids who are being kicked out of foster care to help them integrate in the most healed and aligned way as adults into society. About 80% of prison inmates came through the group home or foster home system. And it just speaks to essentially what happens after. Many times during their foster experience, it's incredibly, incredibly traumatizing anyway. But then at 18, they're left without family, without a home, without resources of any kind, without any kind of support, and they're expected to go and make a good life for themselves. And that's just not realistic. And I myself was in foster care for 6 years, and this is why it's such a close to my heart passion project. It's something I've been wanting to do since I was about 10 years old. And so it's so exciting that we're finally here and we're finally working towards it. So that's me. That's what I'm about. Now let's move into some work, huh? Who's ready? Who is ready to do some work? Man, I missed you guys. I missed you. I'm so glad to be back. Feels like forever since I taught. Ready, Kat's ready. Well, as long as Kat's ready, we're gonna roll. Even if none of y'all others are, we're just gonna go. So before we move into the Wealth Alchemy Formula, I just want to cover a couple of reminders. So reminder number one is the difference between glamour goals and tangible dreams. Crystal's ready. Michelle's ready. Safia's not ready, but today is a lazy day. Hey, no problem. No Pablo. That's okay, Savi. At least you're like here, right? Lena's ready. Yay! More people. Okay, so the difference between glamour goals and tangible dreams. A glamour goal is an idea. Kim's ready. Yay! An idea that you have for yourself or your life that has kind of a rosy glow about it. When you think about it, it will feel very like uplifting and warm-hearted, probably quite expansive. It's probably, really yummy to think about. And it's a place where dreams come true. And I say that tongue in cheek for a specific reason, because with our glamour goals, we believe that all of our needs will be met, that all of our problems will disappear, that we will not have any more issues, that we will never be challenged again, that we won't have to grow anymore, that we won't have to deal with any of the tough stuff, that we won't have to have any more uncomfortable conversations, that we'll never have to set boundaries ever again, that we won't have to practice self-mastered behaviors, right? Here's a glamour goal that I hear very often. And by the way, if this is a glamour goal of yours currently, this is not said to shame you. It is just said as a mirror for you to realize that there is a difference between illusion, fantasy, and reality. Okay. A glamour goal that I hear often is, I want to make enough money so I never have to check my bank account, so that I don't have to do a budget, so that I never have to watch my spending. That's a glamour goal that I hear often, all the time, especially when I'm working with entrepreneurs. I want to make enough money that I never, ever have to be aware of how much money I make or how much I'm spending. Yes, Savi, exactly. A glamour goal is when you think something is finished and now your life is magically perfect. I call it the mountaintop. You have reached the mountaintop. You can erect your castle and just purvey the landscape beneath you, drinking chalices, goblets of wine, and laughing riotously always, like ad infinitum, right? That's a glamour goal. Doesn't happen, doesn't exist. And one of the reasons that I know because I've witnessed it and I've heard it on good authority, that you cannot make enough money that you never have to check your bank account, is because you cannot out earn your spending habits. You cannot out earn your spending habits. So when you try to create a future where you're making so much money that you never have to check your bank account, the predisposition is you already don't know what you're spending. Sometimes you do, but most often there's lots of money leaking, which means that if you're overspending, if you're spending more money than you make, that practice is going to continue no matter how much money you're making. I have personally experienced it. I have witnessed others do it. And I've had my coach tell us time and time and time and time again. He has entrepreneurs making $5 million, $10 million, $50 million a year who are still living paycheck to paycheck because they refused to learn self-mastered practices around their spending habits. A glamour goal is something that doesn't exist. And if you refuse to learn how to manage your money, you will never get to a place where you're making enough money to cover your expenses to the point where you don't have to look at them anymore. You just won't, because the underlying behavior goes with it. You will absolutely make more money. You'll just spend more than you make. And ouch, right? To make $50 million a year and still be living paycheck to paycheck. Ouch. Francesca, it is almost like we just talked about it. Isn't that funny how synchronous the universe is? I love it. Love it. Love. Okay, so now tangible dreams. Let's talk about why tangible dreams exist. It's because you can actually have the life of your dreams. You really, 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 really can. If you want a laptop lifestyle so that you can travel to your heart's content, you can absolutely have that. And I know people who do. And I have clients who have moved from not to being, and it is the best move that they ever made, and they feel aligned and lit up. They're working less, making more. This is a real thing, okay? This is an absolutely real, doable, tangible, practical thing, if that's what you want. If you want to retire at 50, 40 with multiple millions of dollars in the bank account, that is a real, tangible, practical possibility. Of course it is. Yes, absolutely, for sure. You want to live on the interest of your millions for the rest of your days. Practical. People do it all the time. Definitely doable. But what makes it a tangible dream rather than a glamour goal is that you maintain an awareness that life will still continue to be life. What does that mean? You're going to have challenges. You're going to have to grow through them. You will have opposition sometimes. Things will go wrong. You will not be able to buy yourself out of some situations. You're going to have to keep growing, my love, until you pass from this form and come back in a different form. Like, that's the purpose. That's why we're here. We're not trying to escape reality, although reality is fucking exhausting, right? We're not going to also be, disillusioned about that. We're not trying to escape reality. We are trying to be our most expansive selves within it. What does that mean? Exactly, Michelle. Life won't be all roses. It's never going to get to a point where you're just skipping through poppy fields holding hands with bunnies. Like, it just isn't going to, right? And what does that mean? Okay, so one of my clients said that one of her dreams was to move to Europe for a year and bring her whole family with her. She wanted to get her business to a point where she could do that. And I was like, absolutely, totally doable. You know, let's create an energetic plan, because I'm all energy. I'm not practical. I'm not on the ground stuff. For that, you're going to need to see like some other kind of business coach or analyst or something. So in order to create the energetic plan, we had to build reality into her vision. Okay. How did we do that? We were talking about the 12, 14-hour flight. Cool. Okay, now imagine 12, 14-hour flight with your young kids. Ugh. Okay, yeah, it's going to suck. It will. It just will. There's no way around it. And yet it's totally worth it, right? And so when you're sitting on the plane going, this is not what I expected, that's when your glamour goal is rubbing up against the tangibility of real life, right? Okay, you get that. Do you speak French? No. Okay, so that's going to create some communication challenges. Do you read French? No. Okay, so that's going to create some challenges for you. It might be hard for you to make friends. It might be hard for you to navigate. It might be hard for you to find the products that you want, the food, to get to the places that you're trying to go to, right? You got Google Translate, so you can figure it out, but it's going to be different from living in an English-speaking country, right? Let's weave some reality into that experience. What about money? You're bringing all your money with you? Probably not, right? Okay, so then what happens? Let's imagine that there's some issues with the exchange. Some things are canceled. Okay, like, let's build some tangible reality. It's not as easy as just popping down to the bank and talking to your local bank teller who helps you all the time, right? Building reality into the glamour vision, the glamour goal. Because when you can weave some reality into the vision, your unconscious mind can hang on to the reality of these truths, okay? A glamour goal is almost a sabotage mechanism, because your unconscious mind can't practically see how you can get there. And so it acts as a block more than an inspiration. But when you can weave some reality into the fabric of your goal, your unconscious mind now gets into receptive mode, figuring it out mode, attracting the resources that you need in order to make this tangible dream a reality. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? So far, I know many of you know the difference between glamour goals and tangible dreams because we've talked about it before. But I just wanted to do a quick recap because the Wealth Alchemy Formula is not based on glamour goals. It's based on tangible, practical desires that you want to manifest in reality. So, so we just need to talk about that. Cool. So have your dreams, guys. Have all your dreams. Don't cap yourself. Have every single thing. Let life be an and experience, right? But weave practicality into the fabric of your dreams. Maybe in your goal, you have an idea that you're going to do this with your soulmate. But what are you doing in order to magnetize your soulmate in? Are you doing any inner work at all? Because if you're not, you're going to need to make some adjustments to your tangible dreams, right? The reason I bring that up is really specific. I had a very specific experience this last week with a person who, never mind. It was cute. It's really cute. I was like, oh, okay, you have that. I'm not going to try to tear that away from you. Cool. Okay. You also, okay, so here are some things here's some truths that run in alignment with the Wealth Alchemy Formula. 1, you cannot control anything about how it unfolds. Okay? You have full permission to ask for exactly what you want and more. But you cannot and have zero control about how it unfolds. What it looks like. It may look very different from the image that you have in your mind, okay? You can't control that. You can't manipulate that. You can't bend it or contort it or twist it to make it look like what you desire for it to look like, okay? And you have no control over the when. You have no control over the divine timing of it all. And I say that, and I say it often, and people nod and agree and say, yes, I have no control over the divine timing of it. Yes, you're right. You're right. I get that. But it should have happened by now. But why hasn't it happened yet? But it was supposed to happen this month. Aha. Oh, okay. So reconcile these patterns, guys. Reconcile these. If you know that you can't control or force or twist divine timing, then you can't control or force or twist or expect divine timing to happen within your timeline, to happen within your expectations. I can't control divine timing means I can't control the time within which it unfolds, literally. Michelle says, what about quantum leaps people talk about? Oh, they happen all the time. Quantum leaps are controlled by divine timing. Universe handles that shit. The divine teams of light handle that shit. We don't go, okay, ready for a quantum leap. I'm going to quantum leap in June. It's so cute. And I'm laughing and I'm giggling so hard because I see it all the time, all the time, all the time. I see it all the time. Hi, Jose. And guess what? I catch myself doing it too. That's why. It's so giggle worthy. So giggle worthy. Michelle, also, when they say you should put a date to your goals or expectations for what you want, or what about that? Yeah. Yeah, anytime, that's a great question. Anytime I have a client who comes to me and says, this is my goal that I'm going to achieve by that date, the first thing I have them do is remove the date. First thing. The very first thing. Why? We don't control the timing. So what happens when you set a date? Exactly. When you set a date, it's arbitrary. Why is it arbitrary? You have No fucking clue what the universe has planned for you. You don't know. What about if the universe wants to give it to you next week? But because you are working to a date, you're ignoring intuitive hits, and you're trying to force and twist and contort an outcome, and you're getting misaligned with your path. The universe might want to bring it to you next week, but because of this date, you adjust all your behaviors to be zoned towards this date, and you miss your wormholes for your quantum leaps. You miss it. Wormholes for quantum leaps are like Indiana Jones, when those ladders line up, you know, when I always think of it as like moving stone staircases. And just for a moment, the moving stone staircases line up and you can hop from one to another. That's kind of like what wormholes are. And not to create any lack, okay? Because once a wormhole opens and it closes, it's not going to come back. But your team will get on creating another opportunity for you. Okay. It might take you on a slightly different path. It might take you on a slightly different avenue. Melina says she's guilty of telling the universe she's quantum leaping as of right now. Oh, I fucking hate quantum leaps. I'm grateful for them. Don't get me wrong, because I wouldn't be sitting here in my beautiful house with, you know, my amazing business and the life of my dreams if it weren't for quantum leaps, but I fucking hate them. Shit! Those fuckers are so fucked. Yeah, so I don't sign up for quantum leaps. I just go, okay, whatever's next. I'm your humble student. Francesca, what a great question. What if the time frame you get is from your higher self? Beautiful, babe. Then everything will line up. Hi, Jen. Everything will align to allow. Now, something about the higher self, when we talk more about this, when we talk about intuition, so we will cover it more deeply, but info from intuition and the higher self only positions you to be where you need to be. Hi, Jules. Good to see you, babe. It only positions you to be where you need to be for the next leg of your journey. So, since we talked recently, I'm going to throw out a practical example. Your higher self says, in 3 months, you're going to be living in this place. In 3 months, you're going to, from Egypt. Oh, so much love to Egypt. You're going to be living in this place. Everything that happens in order to position you to get to that moment is what needs to happen in order to get you to the next point. But that does not mean in any way, shape, or form that you are actually supposed to be living in that place in 3 months. Doesn't mean that you're not supposed to either, right? So try as best as you can not to overanalyze it, because the whole purpose is you just have to go with it. You just have to be in flow. You just have to trust intuition each step of the way. Intuition won't tell you what needs to happen. Intuition and your higher self and your divine team will tell you what you need to know in order to position you for your next evolution. And that is it. That's all. That's all. They do not lay out timelines for you indefinitely that are expected to look exactly as they look. They'll just show you what you need to see in order to do the work or become the person that you're supposed to be in order to evolve to the next level. Michelle, unless you are a fully manifested, transfigured son of God, which might not be happening tomorrow. Yes, Abby, totally. I'm asking if it's going to happen within Earth's lifetime again. Yeah, a couple times. So it's going to happen again at some point, but definitely not tomorrow. And it might be one of us. Who knows? Let's see, Michelle. So if you got a lead to contact someone who may have info to help you with your business and you didn't follow through with contacting them, are you saying that the loophole is now closed and you shouldn't contact them if it's been months? Not necessarily, but it might be. Hi, Cheryl, but it might be. that loophole. They may have had a special that they were running, or they may have been taking on clients and they now don't take on clients anymore, or something. Now, that doesn't mean that your team is not going to work to open up a new wormhole for you. Michelle, you hesitate or procrastinate for a very specific reason. I'm going to guess it's about a fear of something, or a limiting belief. So if I may recommend that you work with someone to clear whatever limiting beliefs are holding you back, then I do. It's up to you if you choose to or not. It's up to you if you want to evolve or not, if you want to expand or not, when you choose to expand, when the right moment is. That is the truth of that. Nobody gets to tell you what to do and when to do it. Okay, so specifically with trying to force things to happen the way that you see them in your mind, or the way that you think that they should be in your mind, you can try to force it as much as you want. The result will still be exactly the same as if you don't try to force it. It's just that you'll end up much more frustrated, much more angry, right? Especially, that's what I was, let me just complete that thought, especially with a time-based goal. When that date passes, what does it do? It reinforces, I'll never get there. What's the point? I'm rubbish at this. I'm a failure. It's going to reinforce all of the limiting beliefs that were standing in your way of getting to that goal in the first place. Michelle, yes, I am working with one-on-one clients. I have one spot currently. And that'll be it probably until August, I'm guessing. Yeah, probably. We'll see. I'm going to go with the flow on that. So when you have a time-based goal, you only reinforce shame and failure. Only reinforce shame or failure. You have to have goals. Goals align your action. Goals align your energy. You need to have a direction that you're moving forward in. Got to have something to go for. Even if that goal is, I want to be the most peaceful-hearted version of myself. That's a great goal. And it aligns everything, all your actions, intentions around that goal. But no, time-based goals are nonsense, arbitrary. They do not exist. And when I say like a time-based goal, like in 2022, this is what I want to accomplish. Yes, those kinds of time-based goals are also arbitrary. Why? Because man created what 1 year is. I mean, yeah, there's a few things that you can kind of go judge based on, like the rotation of the planets and the solar system and things like that. Like, yes, there are some time keys that exist before we got here, but we are the ones who like go, okay, this is what this means. What if 1 year had been 5 rotations? What if one day was 2 hours? Like, I mean, I know, I get it. I get it. Like sun up to sundown, it's a pretty straightforward, clear-cut thing. But a year is 364 and a quarter days, guys. 364 and a quarter. Huh? So we have to adjust every 4 years by adding an extra day to make up for the quarter. See, everything that we've come up with that's linear is really nonsensical. And it's just something that we go, I decide. So you can't go based on that. You have to go based on universal timing. That's the only true time. Not a specific plan. Yes, map and directions, not a specific plan. I love that. Michelle, I know I can always see how much work you've done, sweetness, because you've gone so far. Okay, so let's move into the actual Wealth Alchemy Formula. We're going to be breaking it down over the next few weeks. I think I'm just going to do, hi mom, I think I'm just going to do the deeper steps, like probably two per session over the next 3 weeks. I don't want to drag it out too long because we're just kind of doing the theory. The actual work, the practical work, you're going to have to do in class, which will be available, like I said, very soon. Okay, so number one, most important thing to know about the Wealth Alchemy Formula is that it is a continuous process. Now, when it was given to me, it was handed to me by my team of light. At the time, I thought it was angels, because those are the only beings that I talked to at the time. So I thought it was given to me by angels. But turns out it wasn't. It was given to me by intergalactic beings, which is kind of trippy. And at the time, it was specifically relating to tangible wealth, practical wealth, money, cold hard cash in your hand. So when it first came to me, it was given, it was only relating to practical in your hands money. I've since had a newer understanding, more expanded understanding that the Wealth Alchemy Formula actually is the key to all kinds of wealth, including mental health wellness, heart wellness, relational, communicative, connection wellness. It really can apply to every area of your life, but you can absolutely use it specifically for money. Just a real quick anecdote. They gave it to me 3 years ago. Yeah, they gave it to me 3 years ago, and they told me at the time that I was the first person to get it, which is kind of crazy. I was the first person to get the Wealth Alchemy Formula. They said a few people would get it right after me in the following years, but they wanted to practice it with me, which who knows why. I mean, that's kind of too much for me to even process. So after that, I read a few books that were channeled from ambassadors from intergalactic nations, mostly Pleiadian, I think. But I just started reading one that's from the Melchizedek order and the Seraphim. And it also had the Wealth Alchemy Formula in there too. And in all 3 books that I read that were channeled from different ambassadors from intergalactic beings, they had woven the principles, the key principles of the Wealth Alchemy Formula, and they were written down in those books. And those books were written after they handed it to me. That shit is straight up bananas, y'all. Anyway, just a fun anecdote I wanted to share, because I'm like, oh, the universe is so weird and wacky. So the Wealth Alchemy Formula is a continual process, okay? So you can do it over and over and over. And in fact, you have to do it over and over and over in order to get up each of your elevations. You will have to heal and clear the trauma that comes up along the way. You will not be able to follow the Wealth Alchemy Formula and think that you will be capable of sidestepping your trauma or your lessons or your growth points. You will also not be able to tell yourself that you have grown without actually doing the work. You won't be able to suppress your traumas and, fingers crossed, hope that they won't come up again. No, you're just going to have to. It's all part of the evolution. You have to do the work as it comes up. You can try and not, but guess what? It's not going to work for you if you don't do the practical steps. You may want your quantum leaps to look or feel differently than they do. You might want your quantum leap to be in money first, but it happens in peace of heart or peace of mind first. Or you might want peace of mind or peace of heart first, and then money comes before that. Okay, you won't be able to, guess what? Control the process, control how it unfolds, control the timing. The quantum leaps are going to be and look like and show up however they be and look like and show up. By the way, just a little, not to scare you, but just a little reality check. If you quantum leap, but your quantum leap reveals traumas that you don't choose to work on healing or clearing, What you receive during your quantum leap can be taken away. Now, you cannot unlearn what you learn. So you won't like, it's not a snakes and ladders thing, right? In England, it's snakes and ladders. I think it's chutes and ladders here. It's not a chutes and ladders thing. You won't take a ladder and then accidentally, not do the healing work and fall down the chute. You will never go backwards within your evolution. But let's say, for example, you land as part of your evolution a $4.1 million contract and then move into sabotage, as I've witnessed multiple times. Not with, specifically a $4.1 million contract, but definitely I've seen quantum leaps that will trigger a trauma bond, like a trauma wound. And when it is not dressed, when it is not dealt with, the thing that came from the quantum leap has gotten taken away. Now, again, your healing, your evolution doesn't undo. But I have witnessed someone move into sabotage and lose that $4.1 million contract. Now, what did one person decide to do? A few people decide to do? They decided to keep working on their trauma that came up. And guess what? That $4.1 million began to manifest in other ways through other wormholes. So your team will always back you up if you show up to do the work, but they will not do it for you. They will not rescue you from yourself. You are here as a self-responsible human to do the thing. Got it? There is no mountaintop. Live life in the now. You cannot skip steps. Can't skip steps. Quantum leaps are not skipping steps. Hi, Liv. That's so funny. I just talked about you earlier, babe. Quantum leaps are not skip. It was good. Of course it was good. Quantum leaps are not skipping steps. They're collapsing time frames. The universe will collapse time frames for you if you are willing to show up and do your part. Okay. Alrighty. So now I'll just give you the 6 steps of the Wealth Alchemy Formula. And that's the reason why we're going to go deep into them over the next 3 weeks. We're not here next week. I'm not going to be streaming next week. I'm going on a little vacay with my girlies. So no class next week, but after that we'll do 3 weeks of the Quantum Wealth Alchemy Formula. We're going to go deep into it because you need to know practicalities of what it looks like. But again, you're going to have to do the classes to actually move through some of the trauma that will come up, do the healing work, and get to where you need to be. Step 1 is surrender. Surrender. And when we talk about surrender, we are specifically talking about surrendering control, letting go, knowing we do not control the journey, the outcome, the people, the energy, the time frame, none of it. We don't control any of it. So we have to surrender. We have to turn it over. Got to turn it over to your divine team of light, to your higher self, to your intuition, to God, to whatever beings or energy you believe run this joint. Step 1 is surrender. Step 2 is listen to intuition. There are some really vital reasons why this is necessary, which we'll talk more about next time. But step 2 is listen to intuition. If you do not currently have access to your intuition, no Pablo. I have multiple classes that exist online, teaching you how to connect with your intuition, how to strengthen your connection, how to listen, how to talk to your team, how to talk to your angels, things like that. So step 2 is listen to intuition. Your intuition is the only thing that knows where you're going. It is the only thing that can keep you on your most expansive path. It's the only voice that you can really trust. Everything needs to funnel. All information needs to funnel through your intuition for resonant truth that works for you. Okay? Don't take what anyone says. No, not even me. Don't take what anyone says at face value. It all has to move through your intuition. Step 3 is take aligned action. Michelle, awesome. We got classes for you, babe. Take aligned action. If your intuition tells you what steps to do, but you don't take action, you're still not going to get to where you're supposed to be. And if you take action that is based on logic rather than intuition, you are going to move further and further away from your divine path. The actions that you take must be aligned with your intuition. Must. That's a non-negotiable. 4, have discernment. This one's a tricky one. If you were raised by a narcissist, in an abusive household, in a neglectful household, around addicts, discernment can be really hard because it's not that the red flags don't exist, it's that your mind has been groomed to ignore them. But that's okay. So noticing red flags is a vital part of this process. Step 5 is draw boundaries. Draw boundaries in every area of your life according to what works for you, what feels right, what feels aligned, according to what the red flags that you discern, things like that. Yes, Avi, aligned nonlinear action. Yes, most of the time the action will be nonlinear. And that's kind of the scary thing about listening to your intuition and then taking aligned action according to your intuition is that when it's nonlinear, your mind can't predict what's going to happen. But that's kind of the point. When your mind tries to predict what's going to happen, it tries to manage the process. And the moment we move into management, the moment we move into trying to control the process, we block opportunities for our quantum leaps. 5, boundaries. And then 6 is self-mastery. Self-mastery. What does self-mastery look like? Self-mastery looks like self-management, minding your boundaries, minding your actions, minding your behaviors. Self-mastery applies to food, spending habits, self-care habits. Again, like I mentioned, minding your boundaries. Self-mastery is a vital part of that process because it's the part where we take responsibility for our lives, where we stop trying to hand over responsibility to others, especially divine beings. Here, this is your job. You managing my spending habits is your job. That doesn't work out. No one else's job except for our own. What I thought was actually really fascinating is when I was first given the Wealth Alchemy Formula, it only came with steps 1 through 5. Why? Because they couldn't give me step 6 because I hadn't even begun to practice self-mastery. It was only once I started practicing self-mastery and then the reinforcement of the evolution, my evolution. When I began to practice self-mastery, my evolution was set on fire. And once I did, they were able to be like, hey, Tink, this is step 6. And I was like, got it. So living alignment was me having to learn self-mastery before they could even deliver it as step 6, because how could I teach it if I hadn't even begun to practice it? Savi, you're making a cake. It's okay, you're getting better. And I mean, there's different levels of self-mastery, but when it comes to gut health, your body health, there's some very interesting theories I will be teaching in the health track about why health is important, and how sabotage is physically internal, separate from us. It's very fascinating, but it took me on a really, really fascinating wormhole. Okay, so those are the 6 steps. Darlings, do we have any just like basic overview questions for right now? Like I said, we're going to be going deeper into it over the next few weeks. And Lena says, answer to your 5-year-old question. You quantum leaped in 2017, and all that you never dealt with came back, and you lost it all. You kept asking why. You experienced the 0 to 0 moments. They're so painful. Putting so much love and light around you, Lena, because they're so painful. I've experienced them, and it is, ow. Ouch. It is very, very painful to go through those, but it all serves a purpose. Ugh, and it's such a cliche, and it can be invalidating if you just say it all serves a purpose without feeling the feelings, but it really, really, truly, truly all serves a purpose. Yay, Crystal! I'm excited for you to learn this too. All right, if you're not driving, go ahead and take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. If you are driving, please keep your eyes open. You can still follow along, but just, watch where you're going. Open your heart. Breathe out any heaviness or tension that's sitting on top. Just let it move through. I'm going to count you from 5 down to 0, and at 0, you'll find yourself in a deep, quiet, safe space within you. Starting at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And I just want you to think about this thought. I am open to fluid, effortless wealth. And I want you to notice how your body responds to that. If your body responds by contracting, by shutting your heart, by becoming afraid, that's okay. Just notice it. And in time, just work to open your heart back up again. All of it is information. There's no good, bad, right, wrong. If your body expands and receives, notice that. If your logic brain kicks in and says, well, how? Well, how? Notice that. It's all good. It's all good. I am open to fluid and effortless wealth. And for some of you, that might not be true today, and that's okay, because at least you can identify that. And you can work on what's preventing you from being open to fluid and effortless wealth. Coming back to the body, back to the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eyes open, wide awake and alert. Hi. I'd love to know what your experience was with that. What did it feel like? What did it sound like? What did it look like? Did it feel open and expansive, or did you notice a shrinking? And just go ahead and pop that in the chat. Krista, I love that you did that under the trees. That's so beautiful. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Butterflies. Oh, I love it. Yay. You were distracted by your rage of being disrespected and money stolen. Have to do it again. Yeah, Kat, gotta breathe out that rage, babe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And look at discernment. Were there red flags? And if there were, pin them. And if there were red flags and you can pin them, then it was all for a purpose, right? Yep, absolutely. And then go back. Yeah. Lena, stiff neck accompanied with a tiny shot, pain and twitching. Fascinating. Oh, your divine counter. Oh, he did. Oh. Oh. Interesting. Had you heard of that guy? Did he know of him? Oh, you'd already sent the money. Dang. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. Francesca, warm weighted blanket, comfort, absolute, like your heart expanded larger than it has in so long. You almost had a ping of hurt, like growing pains. Yeah, it's like a little ting, isn't it? Open and literally fluid. Your whole field felt like it wobbled and it felt wonderful and relaxed. I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Kim, I love that. You were on your patio in your beautiful garden. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's why you switched to your phone. That's brilliant. And you interchanged the word for, oh, well, for love. And how receptive was your heart to that? That's beautiful. He was working with a multitude of other healers. You thought it would, oh, sure. Sure. Yeah. I've gotten great referrals to healers and, well, overridden warning signs, but working with them was definitely part of my journey, right? So overriding the discernment was part of the whole process so that I could, it could pin for next time. Yeah, nobody likes to be taken advantage of. And it's worse when it's people who hold themselves in a spiritual space. Oh, by the way, their karma is much weightier. It is much weightier. No, me neither. It is unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable. It's not okay in any way, shape, or form. All right, my darlings. What a wonderful class we had today. Reminder, no class next week. I'm on a little vacay with my friendies. People call you karma, as they should. I love it. I love it. Yeah, there's a moment where karma comes in, and then there's a moment where I'll just share this. Yeah, I'll share this. Thanks. I shall. When I was first tapping into my real spirituality, real spiritual powers, when I really started being able to commune with energies and influence their direction, and when I became aware that I do hold weight in the universe, not just as an individual, but also as a some kind of representative. At the time, that was just the extent to my understanding. Wish them harm, because I didn't really. Oh, weird. Am I not supposed to talk about this? I am supposed to talk about this. And I was stopped. Weird. Okay, good. I'm back. Good. Okay, I would wish them harm because I didn't understand how powerful I was. And it wasn't even the karma that I didn't think anything through. I just was like, you're out of business. You're out of business. And I felt fully justified because their treatment of me was gross. But I was not as evolved as I am now. And I don't recommend it. I definitely had to make up the karma of that. And now I'm very careful with my thoughts. I don't wish harm on anybody because those are spells. When you're powerful, when you're connected with the universe, they're powerful spells and they can be instantaneous. So be very, very careful. Be very, 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 very careful. Oh, thanks, Safi. Now, if someone is specifically intentionally harmful to me, boom, I invite 10x your karma. Hi, everyone. Anyone who's in the highest interests of all. And it's still satisfactory. Still satisfying. Oh, I froze again. Okay, I invite 10x. I invite the beings who are in charge of delivering karma to deliver karma. Hey guys, in case you didn't know, here's someone who needs a dose of their own karma. Like I just connect them with their team or the beings, right? Hey, hi, I just wanted to pin karma over here, you know. And then I step out and it's wholesome for the good of all, for the highest benefit of all. Only for the highest benefit, only for the highest evolution. You can get into some really murky territory if you start to actually wish people harm, because that's when you unconsciously make contracts with beings that you shouldn't be making contracts with. Jessica. Oh, and it's really like satisfying, because you know they're gonna get their karma and you don't have to do anything. So you don't have to generate karma, you know, negative karma for yourself and all that stuff. Cheryl, lovely class. Correct you if you're wrong, but I mentioned something about that our heart leads to DÄP Ministries. Oh, donors having access to all classes. Where is that donation link? And is that still going on? Cheryl, what a great question. Yes, there is about to be a link. So now that all the classes have transitioned over to my software, I just have to set up a donation link and automate the process so that you can get access to all of those classes, including Magic School. Now, the tracks are eventually going to be separated. So you will actually do a separate donation. And there's only like most of track 1 and lots of track 3 and some of track 4. Since they're not complete, I'm just going to give you access to all of the classes until they're complete, and then we'll separate them out. So that's coming. That link is coming during the week. Anyway, loves, that was a little digression, but just be very, very careful about what you wish upon others. You will get karma back for that you will have to deal with. And it could open you up to some unconscious conversations with other beings in the universe that are not beings of light, that do not have your interests, your best interests at heart. So be very, very careful about how you direct your thoughts and energy. And just let your team take care of it. You have to draw boundaries. You have to hold boundaries. So Kat, I'm not saying turn it over. I'm saying do the practice of holding your boundary with that. Do everything that you can within your practice of holding your boundary. I've had to get lawyers involved. I've had to send cease and desist letters. Like I've had to do all of the stuff in order to, I've had to do restraining orders because I will not allow myself to be tolerated. I will not tolerate disrespect in any way, shape, or form. However, once I had done everything that I could do to protect and honor my boundaries, then I turn it over. Hey, by the way, Pin, this person could use some of their karma. Just in case you missed this bit. Yeah, so that's the end. That's the end of class today. And then if you are able to, we are so close to reaching get her a pair. Link on the Facebook. It's in my bios everywhere else. I froze again. Weird interruptions. Anyway, we're done. Okay, my lovelies. I'll see you next Sunday. Nope, just kidding. I'll see you in 2 weeks on Sunday. I'll see you. Bye.